Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with fried cheese egg toast. That's right, you want something delicious for breakfast, but none of your usual options sound good, which means you're in what we call in the business a rut. And don't feel bad, it happens to the best of us. But anyway, good news if you're currently suffering through that, since fried cheese egg toast is one of my all-time favorite breakfast rut busters. Plus, recipes like this can actually help you improve your cooking skills, and I will attempt to explain why later. But for now, let's just go ahead and get started by tossing a small handful of grated cheddar cheese into this non-stick skillet we've set over medium heat. And I'm using just under 1 ounce, which is a little bit stingy. Probably just over 1 ounce is the perfect amount. And if possible, try to get some sort of roundish shape, unlike mine, which was a little random. And what we're looking for here before we add our egg is for that cheese to melt and start bubbling and start to get a little bit browned around the outside edge. And once that happens, we're going to do 2 things. One is optional, and that would be to sprinkle down some hot pepper flakes. Which brings us to our non-optional second thing. We will attempt to place 1 large egg in the center, or somewhere close to it. But before I do, I'm going to touch the center of my cheese mixture with the tip of my spatula for no apparent reason. I guess I was trying to make a well for the egg to sit in, but I quickly realized you can't. But anyway, we'll place our egg down, trying to keep that yolk somewhere remotely close to the center. And then what we'll do once we have our egg positioned is take the tip of our spatula and poke it through that invisible membrane that sort of holds the white together, which should, if everything goes according to plan, cause some of that white to run out and sort of flatten out, and it will probably cook a little bit quicker and more evenly. And then besides dealing with a few rogue pieces of cheese, all we're going to do is hang out and keep an eye on this. And basically we're waiting for that cheese to get beautifully browned, as well as our egg white to cook almost but not quite all the way through. And at that point, we will attempt to fold this all up, hopefully in a shape remotely close to the shape of our slice of toast. And the reason making something like this improves your skills is because it forces you to react to what you're seeing and feeling in the pan. Okay, it doesn't matter what the written recipe says. You're going to have to decide when exactly to fold this up. Which for me was right here, because I could see my cheese was getting nicely browned and the white was just about set. And at that point, we'll go around with our spatula, scraping everything up over the top, somehow encasing our yolk in that fried cheese, which as you can see has been sort of fused to the egg white. And one of the many great things about fried cheese is that as soon as it comes up off that pan, it basically firms up almost immediately, which makes it fairly easy to manipulate. And don't worry about trying to get this perfect. In fact, this is probably one of the worst looking ones I've ever made, but it doesn't matter because once this is on the toast, it always looks amazing. And then what we'll do once all those sides have been sort of folded up and over is simply wait until we think it's cooked long enough, which is probably only going to be a couple seconds, since like I said, we really do want to keep that yolk runny. And for mine, I decided it was perfect right here. So we'll pull that off and transfer it onto a piece of toast. And besides pulling off any unsightly cheese remnants, I like topping this with a few green onions. And that's it. What we're calling fried cheese egg toast is done. And before I tell you why this is such an amazing breakfast, let me have you listen to the reason. Oh yeah, it is the combo of that crispy fried cheese surrounding that soft, runny egg that creates all the magic here. So let me go ahead and dig in. And by dig in, what I mean is take the tip of the fork and bust that egg right in the yolk. And then we'll sort of strategically spread that around so every bite has some yolk in it. Alright, you might be okay with a couple yolkless bites, but not me. And then before I stick this in my face, I'm going to finish off with a little pinch of salt. And since I hadn't had one of these in a while, I actually forgot how unbelievably delicious they are. Alright, we already talked about that contrast between the crispy cheese and the runny egg, which really is a hard combo to beat, both taste-wise and texturally. Just insanely good. And I'm not sure what thoughts are going to pop into your brain as you're eating this, but what always pops into mine is, why didn't you make 2? Why did you not make 2? Right, you hear people say less is more. Not with this recipe. More is more. Oh, and speaking of more, if you wanted to add some bacon or diced ham to this, that would be good. So feel free to accessorize, since you are, after all, the host of this fried cheese egg toast. But truth be told, I really do enjoy it more in this primitive state. But anyway, that's it. Fried cheese egg toast. If this ends up catching on, we might have to come up with a little better name. But for now, we'll stick with the very simple and effective fried cheese egg toast. And whether you're in a breakfast rut that needs to be busted, or you just feel like eating a runny egg with fried cheese wrapped around it, I really do hope you give this a try soon. So head over to foodwishes.com for all the ingredient amounts and more info as usual. And as always, enjoy